Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian and I will be your examiner for this part of the test. And I'm going to record this for marking purposes. What is your full name?
My full name is Wang Yang Li, but please just call me by my English nickname, Everett.
Okay, Everett. Can you please hold up your identification to the glass?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Now, the speaking has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Where do you go to relax?
In order to unwind, I like to play some video games on my phone or PS4, or just go for a walk at a park not too far from my place.
And what did you do this morning?
I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. I brushed my teeth, did a 30 minutes yoga, and then I get ready for this exam and came here by public transit.
Let's talk about animals and plants. What is your favorite animal?
I absolutely love panda bears because of their black and white patterns, as well as their playful nature. In fact, I like to use panda as an avatar on social media.
Do you have a favorite flower?
Yes, my favorite flower is rose, because not just because it is beautiful, but also it is a great gift to give on special occasions. I like to buy rose for my mom and my girlfriend.
What kinds of animals do you usually see?
I usually see house pets like cats and dogs around my neighborhood, but I also see crows and finches at a certain time of the year.
Where can you go to see animals?
The city zoo is a fantastic place to see animals. I absolutely love to go there to see pandas. Aside from that, there are also a lot of pet shops around the city where I can see various kinds of little creatures like goldfish, guinea pigs, hamster, parrots and rabbits.
Where can you go to see plants and trees?
There is a national park not too far from my place, about 30 minutes drive. I like to go there to see some greenery and then to see those beautiful plants, especially when I'm feeling a bit stressed. It is a good place to go to relax and then to get some fresh air.
Have you ever been lost in a forest?
Luckily, no. I've never been lost in the forest. But I have heard it is a terrible feeling to be turned around in the forest, and it's really easy to get panicked. In fact, whenever I go on hikes or out into nature, I like to make sure where I come from and then which directions I'm going.
If you could go to see plants and animals anywhere in the world, where would you go?
That's a bit tough question to answer because there are obviously many beautiful places in the world. But if I can really go anywhere, I would likely to pick Central America, like Costa Rica, where there is jungle full of colorful plants, birds, and unique animals like toucan and sloth.
That is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, here is a card with some questions. Please do not touch the card. You will have 1 minute to look at the questions, think about your answers, and then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Everett, your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Perhaps the most pressure I have ever felt till this day is sitting the Chinese Standardized Academic Proficiency Exam, known as 高考. I set this exam about 2 years ago in June. 高考 is a national entrance exam every Chinese high school graduate take in order to test their skills and knowledge for higher level education, as well as their eligibility for a certain universities. This is a 9 hours exam which takes place in 2 days, covering 4 subjects, and it is feared by most students. In fact, I have been preparing for this exam since junior high school. Needless to say, I had a lot of pressure and anxiety building up over this year leading to the exam. Not only myself, but also my parents were pushing really hard on me to do well in this exam, because getting a great score would mean the possibility to enter a prestigious university and as well as be on the path for an outstanding career. I had wanted to study electronics engineering in Peking University, and this meant I would have to score the top 5 percentile in this exam. In order to manage such insane pressure, I exercised every day, 1 hour, doing yoga and swimming. I pay attention to both my mind and body. Also, I invested hundreds, if not thousands of hours to prepare, study effectively. I kept in my mind that no matter what the outcome is, I have done my best, and this is all I could ask of myself. During the exam, I tried my best to stay focused, follow the strategy I prepared, and pay attention to my breathing. In the end, I have completed the exam better than I expected, and now I'm pursuing my goal in electronics engineering.
That's your time right there. I'm going to stop you. And now we'll continue with part 3. I'm going to just take back this card. Can you please put the note paper to the side? Thank you. And I will ask you a couple questions about your response to part 2, and then some more questions related to the topic of part 2. How did your parents react when they learned that you got a good score?
Well, they were ecstatic. Like my mom, she couldn't stop smiling the whole day, and my dad just kept hugging me and told me how proud he was.
What was the most challenging part of the test?
I think the mathematical questions were kind of tough. I remember there were a couple of them that I couldn't manage to solve it.
Let's talk about challenging moments in life. What are some typical situations when individuals feel a lot of pressure?
Aside from the situation like this IELTS exam, or the 高考 as I mentioned earlier, people also feel a lot of anxiety performing in front of a crowd, like public speaking, as well as peer pressure when friends are challenging them to take risk, like when my friends challenge me to go bungee jumping with them.
What are good ways to cope with this kind of stress?
As I mentioned in the previous part, being strong in body and mind, as well as staying focused at the task in hand, are good ways to cope.
If people run away from difficult situations in life, what may be the consequences?
There are some dire repercussions to avoiding challenging situations in life. One may lack of achievement, and then that could lead to self-loathing. I think life is full of challenges, and people must take risks in order to gain rewards.
How can people prepare themselves for challenging parts of life?
I think individuals must be prepared for demanding times in life by assessing the situation, making plans, as well as alternative plans in order to stay dynamic.
Can you elaborate?
Yes, absolutely. When I made my plan for Gaokao, I was prepared that if I couldn't get the results to enter Peking University, alternatively, I would go to a different university abroad.
Let's talk about managing stress. Why is it important to manage stress?
It's absolutely necessary to handle the anxiety under a certain level because it is really damaging body and mind. It is commonly said that stress is the #1 killer for humans. It could lead to heart attack and all kinds of psychological disorders.
What are some effective ways of handling stressful situations?
I think meditation or breathing techniques like Tai Chi, as well as regular exercise, are good ways to handle stress.
How has life become more stressful now compared to a generation ago?
I think all the excessive information that is bombarding people from social media and the internet is making our life more nerve-wracking than ever. I mean, these days, people have to care about their image, not just in real life, but also in the cloud. On the other hand, global competitions has increased compared to a generation ago for both learning and jobs.
What can people do to manage these new pressures?
I think